Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm here to talk about a disturbed individual named John Doyle, who's calling himself a historian. I'm perturbed as well as perplexed as to how an individual can wake up every morning and decide to just throw crap on black history, on American history, on American heroes. Basically, he's crapping on American heroes. Every day he has a podcast from Martin Luther King to Rosa Parks. Well, my area is black military history. I'm sort of a black military historian. I've been reading and following this stuff since I've been like 12 years old. And as soon as I heard this guy, when he was saying something about the Tuskegee Airmen, I thought he was going to say, oh, yeah, well, they say they didn't lose a bomber. Well, they actually lost some. I thought he was going to say something like that, which I wouldn't argue because that's the truth. But no. This man is 100% bunk. This guy, I'll tell you what, if bullshit was a mountain, this man is Everest. I've never heard such garbage that's spewed from this man's orifice as this John Doyle, this troll at best. Take a listen to this garbage.
Day 11 of exposing black history because it literally didn't even happen. So we all get told in school about how black people did so much for America in World War II only to continue being oppressed by it because we're just evil. The Tuskegee Airmen, right? The best pilots of the war. They get Netflix shows, all that. Black women delivering mail better than everybody else. What was the actual black service record in World War II though? It was not very Hollywood. First off, America had 1.2 million black soldiers, of which only 708 actually died in war because they were almost entirely kept from combat. This is because their scores on the Army General Classification Test, which was given to everyone, were lower on average, and so they were instead often assigned to things like labor units rather than combat units. I guess tests have always been racist. For comparison, we only had 33,000 Japanese Americans involved in World War II, and they had 800 killed in action. Literally more people from the country we nuked twice died for America. Where's their Netflix program? The Japanese, truly our greatest ally. Okay, but why was that? Was America just so hateful towards black people that they wanted to stop them from dying in a war? Well, let's take a little bit of a look at their service record. The 92nd Infantry Division. This was the only black infantry division in World War II, known as the Buffalo Soldiers. They first saw combat in Italy in 1944, where they were known for low morale, retreating immediately, malingering, and losing equipment and just not taking care of it in general. And eventually,
did you ever hear of Kasserine Pass, the first battle for the whites? Got our ass kicked.
Soldiers. The Black Panthers. This was an all-black tank unit, and it's where both the Marvel character and the terrorist group that like to talk about killing white police officers derive their name from. More on those guys later. But the Black Panthers only had one major battle they participated in, the Battle of the Bulge. So during the specific engagement, it's called it 11
one battle. It's just the mother of all battles.
3 German anti-tank guns and a single Mark IV Panther tank. They lost 9 tanks to the single Panther, while German tanks.
It takes 4 Shermans to kill a Panther.
Light crews generally had about 5 or 6 Shermans lost for every 4 German tanks. Do the math.
This is all bullshit. It's not even close to accurate.
Elite pilots, best in the war, never lost a bomber according to Red Tails. They actually lost 27 bombers over the course of the war. And in spite of the fact that they were flying one of the most advanced long-range fighter escorts America had, the P-51 Mustang, they lost 3
They lost 27 bombers. The average was 60.
Every other white-only P-51 fighter group shot down on average over 2 Germans for every 1 they lost. And they had low bomber losses when they were escorting. That's true, but it's also true that most of the German aircraft at this point were already out of the picture. Speaking of facts and figures, despite being only 10% of the military, black male soldiers comprised 56% of convicted rapists. One such criminal was Lewis Till, father of Emmett Till. After choosing military service instead of...
I can't take it anymore. I've had enough, and I'm sure you have too. Let's start at the end where he talks about all these blacks raping people. Well, the problem is, the counter argument to that, which he never mentions, is the black guys were stationary in Europe. They didn't move around much, because they were doing labor and things like that. So if they raped somebody, they were easily convicted. And the white guys, they were only there for a minute because they were in combat units. They were just coming through. If they raped someone, it was impossible to convict a white guy for a rape. And he doesn't tell you that part because, Lord knows white people don't rape anyone. Really? His other point, test scores. Blacks weren't in fighting units because we're stupid. Okay, they didn't allow us to fight. Most of the units, we weren't allowed to fight. Okay, my father scored an 85 on the aeronautical test, not just the Army test. The aeronautical test, he scored an 85. He was in an engineer unit doing labor. So what? How come he wasn't sent to a fighting unit? Bullshit again. He talks about the 761st. They were in one battle. One battle is only like one of the biggest, huge battles in world history. And they were in several battles before that, albeit just smaller. The 761st broke through the Siegfried Line. They were Patton's spearhead. They rescued the 101st Airborne at Bastogne in the Battle of the Bulge. They were the closest to Berlin when the Americans halted our advance and let the Russians go into Berlin because they suffered the most casualties. They liberated the concentration camps. And as far as they only took out 3 tanks. They took out 34 tanks. And anyone that knows anything about World War II history, I mean, German tanks, it took like 4 Shermans to take out a Tiger. They took out 58 anti-aircraft guns, and there were probably 88s. If you know anything about how deadly the 88s were, they would cut through our tanks like a hot knife through butter. They captured 6,000 prisoners. And this is according to the presidential citation that they received and their unit record. I don't know where this clown is getting his information from. He's completely off base. What else does this idiot say? Tuskegee Airmen lost 3 airplanes for every plane they shot down. This guy, I suggest a math class to you, sir. The Tuskegee Airmen shot down 112 aircraft. 150 on the ground they destroyed, 950 rail cars. They lost 66, by the way. So not what would it be? Over 5, what would it be? Almost 700 and something we would have lost, according to him. 179 escorts and only lost bombers on 7, which I can see why the folklore came up that we never lost a bomber. I mean, 179 escorts and only lost bombers on 7. So yeah, he claims that we lost 27 bombers, and he's actually correct on that. But all the other escort units, the white units, lost an average of 60. So these guys are the real deal. They also were picked to throw a bomb through a window of a castle because they were the only ones that can do it. They did the longest escort in World War II history. They also, a lot of people don't realize this, but they were the first Top Gun winners, the Tuskegee Airmen. Their leaders said, come home victorious or don't come home at all. Also, the Tuskegee Airmen here in Wisconsin, where I reside, he started the weather wing at University Wisconsin-Madison. A lot of these guys went on to be aeronautical engineers. I could beat this guy up all day. You're just wasting your time if you watch his garbage. He's ripping everyone from Martin Luther King to Rosa Parks. My area is Black military history, and when I heard that, I just could not sit down. If you watch this guy's garbage, you're just listening to garbage. I mean, a simple Google search would give you the answers on this stuff. I don't know where he's citing his facts from because he doesn't cite any facts. So yeah, what an awful troll to just want to walk around and just throw shit on our American heroes. Thank you for watching. Please share.